Welcome, welcome, deep divers. So glad to have you with us for another journey into what truly makes us tick.
I've often found myself observing people maybe in a meeting or just watching interactions and wondering why? Why do some individuals just um effortlessly command attention?
Yeah.
Their words seem to land, making them instantly respected, followed even, while others, maybe they're brilliant, maybe they have the best intentions, they just kind of vanish into the background.
Right.
We often think, oh, it's about raw intelligence or maybe how someone looks or even how loud they are. But if you've ever been in a conversation where one person speaks and everyone just hangs on their every word,
hmm
and then another speaks and it feels like a whisper into the void, you know it's something else, something more subtle. What's really going on there?
It's a fascinating question, and it's something our research constantly grapples with. And what truly stands out is this. Before you even say a single word, you are communicating,
Yeah.
like right now.
Every single day you're broadcasting messages, and not just with your vocabulary, right? But with the subtle nuances of your voice, the directness or lack of it in your eyes, and even the deliberate choice of silence.
Silence, too.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing, the common blind spot, and it's massive. Most people don't even know how they actually sound or how they really come across to others. They're often unaware that their tone, their timing, their body language, even their word choice,
Oh,
well, these things are either propelling them forward or subtly holding them back.
wow.
And studies, they consistently show that a huge chunk, something like 70 to 90% of a message's impact, is nonverbal.
70 to 90%. That's huge.
It is. It means your unspoken cues are speaking volumes long before your carefully chosen words even register in someone's brain.
So, okay, this deep dive isn't just about, learning grammar or finding better words, is it? It's about something much more fundamental. Transforming how you connect.
Exactly. How you connect with everyone around you. It's about unveiling what we're calling your communication superpowers.
Communication superpowers. I like that.
And that's really our core mission today, Deep Diver. Think of this deep dive as your guide, maybe, to changing your communication patterns, potentially forever, to literally sort of rewire how you engage with the world.
Rewire. Okay.
Yeah, because think about it. Communication is the absolute bedrock of, well, pretty much all success. You could genuinely be the smartest person in any room, bursting with groundbreaking ideas.
Mhm.
But if you can't articulate those ideas with clarity, with confidence, well, honestly, no one will listen. They just won't get it.
Right.
You could have the kindest heart full of passion, good intentions,
Yeah.
but if you don't express that effectively, people might tragically misunderstand you. They might see you as aloof or uninterested.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
You might be fiercely passionate, incredibly loyal, talented, creative, but if you can't convey that passion, that talent, with real conviction, you essentially remain
Yeah.
invisible.
That's a powerful thought. And frankly, a little scary. Invisible.
It is. But think about every influential person you admire. Top CEOs, truly inspirational teachers, even your favorite YouTubers or podcasters. What's their common thread?
Mm-hmm.
They move people, not just with their ideas, but with how they articulate them, with their energy, their clarity.
Yeah, you feel it.
You do. So our mission today is to distill those potent, actionable insights from our sources, giving you the tools, hopefully, to transform from feeling invisible to feeling impactful,
Mhm.
from being unheard to being truly understood. We're not just, breaking down communication theory here. We're trying to unveil the hidden architecture of human connection piece by piece, revealing those unspoken blueprints that really build bridges, or sometimes, unfortunately, walls.
Okay, let's dive right into that because our research makes this critical point right off the bat. Communication is more than talking. It sounds simple, but it's profound. It's not just the words coming out of your mouth. It's about listening deeply, like really listening. It's about reading body language, sensing the vibe in the room,
Feeling the room.
adjusting your approach based on that, choosing the right words for that moment, and maybe most crucially, knowing exactly when not to speak, when silence is the answer.
That's it. Great communicators grasp this fundamental truth. People don't just hear you, they feel you. They pick up on your energy, your intention, your underlying state.
They feel you.
And this feeling, it has immediate, profound impacts, often totally subconscious. If you sound cold, for example, even if your words are polite, you instantly lose trust.
Why is that?
Well, our brains are wired, from way back to detect threat. A cold tone can subconsciously trigger that danger response. It literally shuts down the part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, where trust and empathy happen.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and if your voice sounds confused, you undermine your own authority. People just won't follow. If you sound weak or hesitant, you lose attention. People drift.
But the flip side.
The flip side is powerful. When you speak with genuine clarity, with warmth, with a vibrant kind of energy, you become magnetic. People are drawn in. They want to engage.
And it's compelling, isn't it, that these crucial skills, they're not really taught. Not in school, not usually in jobs, maybe not even modeled well in families sometimes.
It's almost like we're just expected to absorb them by osmosis or something, which is wild
Because communication is what makes everything else work.
Yeah.
Right? Your relationships, think about it, personal, professional, your whole career path, your self-confidence, your ability to influence anything, even your internal peace of mind.
it all hinges on how well you communicate. All of it.
And the transformation when you get better at it,
Oh.
it sounds huge. Stopping arguments that just go in circles, building genuinely deeper connections.
Earning respect naturally without demanding it.
Saying what you actually mean, that alone is massive. And also, learning to hear what others are really trying to say underneath the surface.
Which lets you get what you need right without resorting to manipulation or game playing, which feels better for everyone.
Absolutely. It's a powerful ethical distinction there.
It is. And it ties into what our findings show about arguments. Most friction points. They're not actually about the topic. They're overwhelmingly about how that topic was delivered.
Really, not about the what, but the how.
Overwhelmingly, it's not just what you said, it's how you said it. Tone matters immensely. Timing is absolutely crucial. And the whole delivery package, the energy you bring, that can make or break the message.
So your words could be perfect, totally logical.
Oh, exactly. Intellectually correct, perfectly reasoned. But if your energy, if the delivery itself is off, if it's tense or dismissive or rushed, that message just gets lost. It's like a beautiful song with all the right notes, but played completely out of tune. Nobody wants to listen.
So if the words are right, but the energy's wrong,
Yeah.
the message fails. Why do so many of us struggle with this? Why is it so common?
Well, the core reasons are actually pretty simple, but they're often deeply ingrained. First, like we said, most people were simply never taught this stuff effectively. They just picked up habits along the way. Second, they often speak from raw emotion, anger, fear, frustration, not from a place of awareness and intention. They react instead of respond.
Okay.
Third, they frequently copy communication patterns they've seen, maybe from parents, maybe from bosses, which sadly are often unhealthy or just plain ineffective.
Right. We absorb those models.
We do. And finally, and this is a big one, most people never pause to reflect on how they actually sound to others, how they truly come across. They're just broadcasting.
So this deep dive, this conversation is about breaking those patterns.
Exactly. Helping you pause, reflect, and then speak with genuine purpose. Especially if you're working on improving your English skills alongside your communication skills, aligning that internal state with your external expression becomes even more critical.
And your voice itself. Our sources really emphasize the incredible power it holds.
It truly does. Your voice has this immense dual power. On one hand, it can calm someone's anxiety, it can inspire people to take action, diffuse a tense situation, maybe even end an argument before it blows up.
Wow.
It can create instant trust, make someone feel profoundly heard. It can even, start a movement, change someone's life.
That's the positive side.
That's the positive. But here's the critical counterpoint. That very same voice can just as easily hurt feelings deeply, shatter relationships, trigger defensiveness instantly, shut down conversations completely, and irrevocably damage your reputation.
So the power cuts both ways.
Absolutely. And once you truly understand that, really get it, you become responsible for what you say, and crucially, how you say it. That understanding, that's the very first step towards mastery.
So it's not just what you say, or even the how, but what's going on inside you. The inner game, as some sources call it.
Yes. It's fascinating how deeply tied communication is to our inner world. What you believe about yourself, your fundamental sense of self-worth, it undeniably shows up in your voice.
How so?
Well, if you feel unsure inside, you'll naturally sound unsure. If you internally believe, maybe unconsciously, that your opinion doesn't really matter, people will often treat it that way. They pick up on it.
Yeah.
Conversely, if you carry the conviction that your words have value, that what you have to say is important, people lean in, they want to hear it. So yes, communication is profoundly connected to inner work.
Makes sense.
The way you speak is shaped by your confidence, your past experiences, good and bad, your ingrained habits, your hidden fears, your core values. This deep dive is partly about helping you clean that up, bringing your inner state and your outer expression into alignment, knowing yourself so well that your communication becomes an authentic, natural extension of who you really are.
And this is where it gets really interesting for anyone who thinks, I'm not naturally loud or outgoing, so I can't be a great communicator. There's this myth.
Oh, yes. The myth that needs debunking. You absolutely do not need to be loud to be powerful.
Tell me more.
It's such a crucial insight. What our observations consistently reveal is that some of the most powerful communicators, throughout history even, spoke slowly, calmly, and used remarkably few words.
Fewer words.
Often, yes. Because it's not about sheer volume. It's entirely about clarity, a deep sense of inner calm and unwavering conviction in what you're saying.
So you can be quiet and still command attention.
Absolutely. You can be soft-spoken and still command the room, drawing everyone's focus. You can be inherently kind and still be remarkably firm when needed, setting clear boundaries without aggression.
Right.
And maybe most powerfully, you can be humble, genuinely humble, and still be heard. Still have your message resonate deeply. It's about presence, not decibels. It's about the weight your words carry, the conviction behind them, not just their volume.
That distinction between volume and presence, that's a perfect lead-in to what our research consistently flags as maybe the most underrated but arguably the most powerful communication skill of all, listening.
Listening.
And not just hearing words passively, but truly listening. With the intention, as you said, to understand, not just to reply. I mean, think about the massive difference that small shift in intention makes.
It changes everything.
Most people automatically assume good communication starts with talking.
Yeah.
Right? Getting your point across, making your case, asserting your view. But our deep dive completely flips that. It asserts that great communication starts with truly actively listening.
It's a fundamental distinction because there's this huge gulf between just listening to hear sounds registering noise and listening with the sole intention to genuinely understand the person speaking. That difference changes absolutely everything in a conversation.
Will you give an example?
Well, think about the last time you genuinely felt heard, like really heard, not interrupted, not judged, not rushed, just truly deeply understood.
Yeah.
It probably felt incredibly good, didn't it? Like you mattered, like someone finally got what you were trying to say. It is rare. That moment of genuine connection is unfortunately so uncommon in our busy world. And that's precisely why it's so powerful when it happens. I've had conversations where I just knew the other person was simply reloading, waiting for their turn to speak.
Oh, yeah, you can feel it.
You can. And it immediately makes you shut down, doesn't it? You stop sharing the real stuff.
Absolutely. So flipping that script.
Yeah.
How often do we give that same gift to someone else? Not just nodding along or, let's be honest, waiting for our turn to jump in.
Right.
But truly slowing down, making space, and listening with our whole mind, our whole presence.
The truth is, and our studies confirm this again and again, most people fall short here. They really do. Most people listen only enough to formulate their own thought and jump in. Or worse, they listen with their defenses already up. Rigid.
Defenses up, like half.
Like they're not hearing to understand, they're hearing to defend their position, to argue, to fix the other person's perceived problem, often unsolicited, or sometimes just to escape the conversation entirely because it feels uncomfortable.
And that just breaks the connection.
It absolutely breaks connection. It kills clarity. Real listening, the kind we're talking about, is a profound skill, and it's rare precisely because it requires deep humility.
Humility. Interesting.
Yeah, it demands that you consciously pause your own inner voice, your opinions, your judgments, your clever comebacks, long enough to fully take in what someone else is genuinely trying to express.
Okay, so what does this real deep listening actually look like? What does it feel like in action for both people involved?
Okay, imagine this scenario. Someone is sharing something important with you. Instead of immediately jumping to formulate your response, you consciously stop.
Just stop.
Stop your internal chatter.
Yes.
You meet their gaze, giving them your full, undivided attention. You don't interrupt. You might nod gently, not necessarily to agree or disagree, but simply to show them you are present, that you're with them in that moment.
Tracking them.
Exactly. You wait, you breathe, and only once they've completely finished speaking, then you respond. And critically, you respond not from ingrained habit, not from your ego wanting to be right, but from a place of genuine understanding based on what they just shared.
That sounds powerful.
It is powerful. That kind of moment profoundly builds trust. For the speaker, it feels like they're finally being seen, being valued, like their words landed safely. And for you, the listener, it's like a quiet expansion happens inside. You might gain an unexpected insight.
And the impact goes beyond just that single conversation.
Right.
It sounds like this could actually rewire relationships.
Absolutely. Listening this way does far more than just make individual conversations flow better. It fundamentally changes the dynamic of relationships. It makes people feel incredibly safe around you.
Safe.
Yeah, safe enough to open up in ways they might not with anyone else. It earns you profound respect because, as our research confirms, in this world just full of noise, truly being heard is an incredibly rare and cherished experience. And when you consistently offer that gift, you become someone others genuinely value, someone they instinctively trust, someone they want to be around.
It's startling, though, how many people, myself included probably, don't even realize they're not great listeners. We all think we listen, don't we?
It's true. And common bad listening habits are everywhere. People interrupt constantly. They finish other people's sentences thinking they're being helpful, maybe.
Or impatient.
Or impatient, right. They offer unsolicited advice before it's even clear what the problem is, or if advice is even wanted. And perhaps the most damaging habit, they're busy thinking of what they'll say next rather than genuinely absorbing what's being said right now.
Guilty.
We all are sometimes, but what this does consistently is it creates distance. People start to feel unseen, unknown, and slowly but surely they just stop sharing the deep stuff with you.
So what's the alternative?
The alternative is what you, our deep diver, are learning to do. Something profoundly different. You're learning to listen like a mirror.
Like a
Yeah. Quietly, clearly, fully reflecting what's being offered, without adding your own distortion, your own judgment, your own spin. Just reflecting. And that single shift, that intention alone, makes you stand out. In any room, any group, any conversation.
Okay, so listening to understand. It's more than just hearing. What are the core principles? How do we actually do it?
Okay, core principles. It means you don't assume. You ask clarifying questions if needed. It means you don't jump in to fix things. You learn to just hold space for their experience.
Hold space.
Yeah, it means you courageously allow silence. Because silence, surprisingly often, is when the real truth shows up, when they finally get to the core of it.
Don't fill the silence.
Don't rush to fill it. Sometimes, as our research wisely notes, someone just needs to talk. They don't need your brilliant solution. They don't need your profound wisdom. They simply need you, your presence, your calm attention, your unwavering respect.
Just be there.
Just be there. And when you give that, you bestow a powerful gift. You become someone people implicitly trust. And when people trust you, they open their hearts. They're more likely to follow your lead if you're in that position. They believe your words more deeply when you do speak. That is real influence. That is real connection.
But it's not just about benefiting the other person, is it?
Yeah.
Deep listening must have profound benefits for the listener, too. It must make you smarter, in a way more perceptive.
Oh, absolutely. It's huge for the listener. When you listen deeply, you start to understand things others completely miss. You catch the nuances, the things not explicitly said out loud.
Subtext.
Exactly. You start to discern patterns in how people think or feel. You pick up on subtle emotions. You really hear the truth beneath the words.
And that leads to?
It leads to significantly better decisions because you have more accurate information. You proactively avoid unnecessary conflict because you understand where people are coming from sooner. And you grow immensely in wisdom, in empathy. You literally become a communicator with depth, not just volume.
Depth, not volume. I like that.
So the bottom line is, if your mouth speaks more than your ears receive, you're not truly connecting. You're just broadcasting. And our studies often find that people who broadcast more than they receive often feel more isolated in the long run, ironically.
Interesting. Despite talking more.
Despite talking more. So every single conversation is a fresh opportunity. An opportunity to hear, to learn, to understand, to connect. Bring your full presence. Put the phone away. Quiet your own racing thoughts long enough to let their truth land. Let your stillness speak before your words do. And when you finally do speak, you'll find your words land differently. They'll carry more weight. They'll feel earned because you took the time to understand first.
Wow. Okay, that deep dive into listening, it really is a perspective shifter. It makes you realize just how much communication isn't about the words, doesn't it?
So much.
Which leads us perfectly into another huge piece of that unspoken puzzle. Our body language. How our bodies communicate constantly, often unconsciously, even before we open our mouths.
It's happening all the time.
Yeah. Imagine walking into a room. Instantly, unconsciously, you get a feeling about someone. You see one person, maybe slumped over, arms crossed tight, head down, avoiding eye contact. You haven't exchanged a word, but something already feels off, right? Defensive, maybe?
You feel it immediately.
Now picture someone else. They're sitting up straighter, their eyes are open, and meeting yours occasionally. Maybe a soft, natural smile, shoulders relaxed. Again, no words exchanged. But you feel different, welcomed maybe, open.
Completely different vibe.
That's the instant, powerful impact of body language. And the fascinating thing, as our sources point out, is most people have no idea what message they're actually sending with their bodies.
None at all. They're focused on the words.
Exactly. They focus so much on crafting the perfect sentence, but they completely forget that, as you said earlier, a staggering 70–90% of communication is nonverbal.
It's mind-blowing when you really absorb that number.
It is. It's everything from your posture to your eye contact to the way you tilt your head when someone's talking, whether your arms are open or crossed, the speed and type of your gestures, even the subtle tension in your voice or where your feet are pointing.
Keep pointing. Really?
Apparently.
Yeah.
It's all a language. A silent, incredibly powerful one that we're all speaking and reading constantly, whether we know it or not.
And here's the really impactful part. People inherently believe your body more than your words.
Believe the body more. Why?
Well, think evolutionarily. Our brains are hardwired to pick up on nonverbal cues because for millennia, those cues signaled safety or danger long before complex language even developed. It's primal.
Okay, survival instinct.
Exactly. So you can say, I'm confident with conviction in your voice, but if your eyes are darting around, your shoulders are hunched, and your hands are fidgeting nervously.
Your body's betraying you.
Precisely. The listener's primitive brain is picking up on those danger or uncertainty signals, and they won't genuinely believe your words. You can say emphatically, I really care about this, but if you keep checking your phone, looking past them, or standing stiff and distracted...
Messages, I don't care.
Right. Your actions, your body language, scream louder than your words. The profound truth is people feel you before they hear you. They feel your energy, your presence, or lack thereof, your unique rhythm. And it all originates from the way you carry yourself, the signals your body is sending out.
Okay, so let's break this down. Give us some specifics. What elements of body language should we be more aware of in ourselves and others?
Sure. Let's start with posture. It's a big one. If you walk and sit with your chest open, chin level, back relatively straight, you instantly convey more confidence and openness.
Standing tall.
Yeah, but not rigidly. And it's not just about looking good. Research shows it actually impacts your own internal chemistry, boosting feelings of confidence. Hormones change. But if you're habitually hunched, making yourself appear smaller, closed off,
Yeah.
even if you say all the right things, you might come across as nervous, unsure, or even untrustworthy.
Okay, what about eyes?
Eye contact.
Yeah.
Crucial. Too little, and people might think you're hiding something, you're dishonest, or just plain disengaged. Too much, like a stare down.
Aggressive. Creepy.
Exactly. Aggressive or intimidating. But finding that sweet spot, gentle, respectful, warm eye contact, holding it for a few seconds, then looking away naturally before reconnecting, that instantly builds trust. It activates mirror neurons in the brain, fostering empathy.
Okay. Smiling.
Smiling. A genuine superpower, not the fake forced grin, right? But a natural, easy smile that comes from the eyes, too, a Duchenne smile. It disarms people, it connects, it opens doors words alone never could. It signals warmth, approachability.
What about hands? Gestures.
Gestures, yes. They matter immensely. Open palms tend to suggest honesty and openness, like I have nothing to hide. Closed fists or tightly clasped hands can suggest tension or defensiveness.
And the speed.
Speed matters too. Fast, jerky movements can signal anxiety or nervousness, whereas calm, slower, more deliberate movements tend to convey confidence and thoughtfulness.
And you mentioned feet.
Yeah, the feet. It's subtle, but fascinating. If your feet are pointing away from the person you're talking to, it can subconsciously signal that you're ready to leave, you're checked out, or disengaged. If they point toward them, you're generally seen as engaged and interested.
That's incredibly subtle.
It is. But our brains are amazing pattern recognition machines. They pick up on these tiny cues remarkably fast, often without us even consciously realizing it.
Okay, that's a lot to think about. It almost sounds like you have to constantly monitor and control every muscle. For someone like me who might feel a bit awkward trying to perform perfect body language, does it have to feel so forced?
That's a great question, and this is where the inside-out approach is so important. And it's actually a relief for many people. You simply can't fake this stuff effectively or sustainably for long. Yeah, if your insides are churning with fear or tension or resentment, your outside will eventually betray you. Little micro expressions, muscle tension, it leaks out. So the goal isn't just about memorizing a checklist of physical tricks, stand like this, gesture like that. It's much deeper. It's about learning how to feel more confident, calm, and present on the inside.
Ah, the inner game again.
Exactly. Because when you genuinely feel confident, when you genuinely feel calm, when you genuinely feel present and open, your body naturally mirrors that internal state. You don't have to consciously think, okay, relaxed shoulders now. It happens more organically. The more grounded you are internally, the more grounded you will naturally appear externally. The more open you genuinely feel towards someone, the more open your posture will become. It becomes an authentic expression, not a performance you have to maintain.
Okay, that makes more sense. So how do we start improving our body language if it's really about the inside-out approach? Where's the starting point?
It starts with simple, non-judgmental awareness. Just start noticing. How do you sit when you feel nervous? What happens to your voice when you get excited or angry? What do your hands instinctively do when you feel unsure or defensive? Just observe, like a curious scientist studying a phenomenon.
No judgment, just notice.
Just notice, then slowly, gently begin to make small shifts. Maybe consciously take a deeper breath when you feel tension rising. Intentionally relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Unclench your jaw, so many of us hold tension there. Stand or sit a little taller, imagining a string pulling you up from the crown of your head. Look up more often, engage with the world, pause before reacting.
Small shifts.
Tiny shifts, consistently practiced. The aim here isn't just about looking good or looking confident. It's about being more real, more authentic, more genuinely connected in the moment. Because when your body language and your words are aligned, when they send the same congruent message, what people feel is a sense of wholeness from you, alignment, safety. They trust you more because you seem integrated. You're not trying to impress, you're simply trying to express yourself clearly. You're not trying to dominate, you're aiming to connect. And that fundamentally is what powerful communication is all about. Connection.
Yeah.
Your body is a crucial bridge to making that connection happen.
And the beautiful part, I imagine, is that with practice, it becomes less conscious, more natural, and you don't have to think about it constantly.
With consistent practice, it truly does become second nature. You won't have to endlessly check, where are my hands? Am I smiling enough? Should I nod now? It becomes an intrinsic part of how you carry yourself. Like a rhythm you feel deep in your bones, a language you no longer have to translate because you've learned to live it. And people will absolutely notice the difference. They might not be able to pinpoint exactly what changed, but they'll feel it. They'll feel more drawn to you, more relaxed around you. They'll listen more intently when you speak, and they'll likely open up more freely to you in return.
Why?
Not necessarily because you suddenly said something brilliant, but because you communicated something honest and congruent with your whole being, your body, your tone, your pauses, your stillness. Once you really internalize this, you'll never walk into a room the same way again. You'll walk in knowing that everything about you communicates, and now you have more conscious choice over what that unspoken message truly conveys.
That's really powerful. And speaking of drawing people in, making them feel relaxed and connected, let's talk about how to make people instantly like you. You know that feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
You meet someone, maybe at a party, maybe at work, total stranger, and something about them just feels warm, approachable, safe. You don't know their story, but you feel drawn to them. You want to talk to them, you want to know more.
Yeah, some people just have that thing.
Exactly, that thing. Well, our research suggests it's not luck, it's not magic, it's social intelligence. And here's the great news. It's a learnable skill, an invaluable one. Our sources consistently show it genuinely opens doors that, say, academic degrees often can't. It builds trust even before your resume or credentials are ever looked at. In communication, it's like your golden ticket.
It really is.
So what actually makes someone likable? It's usually not about being the loudest person in the room or being flawlessly perfect or even having the absolute sharpest wit. It often seems to be something deeper, quieter.
It is, and at the heart of it often is presence, just like we talked about with listening and body language. When you are with someone, truly be with them.
Fully there.
Fully there, not half listening while checking your phone under the table, not scanning the room over their shoulder for someone more important. Just be fully present with the person in front of you.
And that makes people feel seen.
Exactly, it makes them feel seen. When you meet someone, make eye contact, that warm, respectful kind we discussed. Even if it's just briefly, look at them like they genuinely matter. Like, for this moment, they're the only person in the room. Even for just 30 seconds, giving someone your undivided attention is a gift most people rarely receive in our distracted world.
Wow, 30 seconds. That's doable.
Totally doable. And as our studies confirm again and again, people don't always remember the specifics of what you said, but they absolutely remember how you made them feel.
Hmm.
So if your energy, your genuine presence, your attention says, "I'm glad you're here, you matter," they'll remember you in a deeply positive way, long after the conversation ends.
Okay, so presence is key.
Hmm.
What about warmth? Some people confuse that with being fake or overly nice.
Right, and it's not about that at all. Warmth isn't about a fake plastered on smile or being a people pleaser. It's much deeper. It's in your tone of voice. Is it open and gentle or sharp and rushed? It's the ease in your eyes. It's your authentic ability to listen without jumping to judgment. It's how quickly you remember and use someone's name after hearing it that makes people feel noticed.
Using their name, right?
It's when your body visibly relaxes in their presence, signaling safety. You meet them as an equal. Likability isn't really about trying to impress people. It's more about disarming them.
Disarming them.
Yeah, helping them relax, helping them feel safe enough so they can drop their own guard and just be themselves authentically around you. Because when someone feels safe and accepted around you, they naturally open up, they trust you more readily, and they genuinely enjoy being near you. That's the true essence of likability. Creating a sense of comfort interwoven with genuine, focused attention.
Now, here's a secret our research really highlights, and it's a potential game changer for anyone who feels anxious in social situations. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to judge you.
Isn't that liberating?
Totally. They're preoccupied with how they're coming across, wondering if they sound smart, worrying if they fit in.
Exactly. So the person who instinctively, gently takes the focus off themselves and places it genuinely on others, that person becomes utterly memorable and magnetic.
And it takes the pressure off you, doesn't it, if you stop worrying about being judged?
It's an incredible relief. So think about the practical habits that build this kind of likability. Ask someone how they're doing, but actually mean it and listen to the answer.
Actually, listen.
Ask thoughtful follow-up questions that show you were listening. Remember little details they shared previously? Oh, how did that project go you mentioned last week? Smile with your eyes, that genuine warmth. Lean in slightly when they speak. It shows engagement non-verbally.
Tiny thing.
They seem like tiny things, don't they? But compounded over time, they build massive trust and connection. You don't need to be naturally hilarious or wildly charismatic or brilliantly clever. You just need to be real, present, maybe a bit soft, and open.
And you mentioned a mindset shift.
Yeah.
Don't try to be liked. Try to like others.
Yes, this is powerful. Shift your goal. Don't walk into a room thinking, how can I impress everyone here? How can I make them like me? That puts all the pressure on you and often comes across as needy or performative.
Right.
Instead, try entering with this intention. How can I genuinely see the people here today? How can I find something to appreciate about each person I interact with? When you lead with genuine appreciation, when you actively look for the good, the interesting, the human in others, they feel it. They might not know why, but they walk away from interacting with you feeling good. That positive feeling lingers.
Seeking the good. That's a lovely thought. And does vulnerability play a role here too? Being willing to be imperfect.
It absolutely does. Our studies show that people connect more easily with others who don't pretend to have it all perfectly figured out. They like people who are authentically human.
Human, yeah.
People who can admit to small mistakes, who can laugh at themselves gently, who are willing to say, I don't actually know the answer to that, but I'd love to find out. Or, wow, I messed that up. Sorry about that. That's real. That's honest. And it's incredibly attractive because it breaks down pretense and creates a sense of shared humanity. We relate to imperfection more than perfection. Sometimes the most likable thing you can do is just breathe. Slow down, let someone else talk, really let them feel heard, and then respond with genuine softness, not some calculated strategy. Like we keep saying, there's no script to true likability. It's not about having the right lines, it's about the energy you bring.
Energy is the message.
Your energy is the message. The more relaxed, grounded, curious, and kind you genuinely feel inside, the louder your unspoken message becomes. You're safe here. I'm open. I'm interested. Likability isn't about getting everyone in the world to adore you. It's about being fully present and appreciative of the people right in front of you, one interaction at a time. Make them feel like they matter, make them feel like they belong, just by offering your genuine attention and warmth. And when you practice this consistently, it becomes your nature. Your heart gets trained to see the value in others, and they will undoubtedly feel that radiating from you.
That's a really profound connection to make. And building right on that, let's talk about the power tool for connection. The questions that build connection. It sounds so simple, but if you want to change the direction, the depth of any conversation, ask a better question.
It really is that simple and that powerful. Words are powerful, yes, but questions. Questions are like keys. They're the doorway to real depth. Think about it. Most conversations skate along the surface, don't they? How are you? Fine. Busy day. Yep. What do you do? We ask these default sort of pre-programmed questions. We keep things light, polite, safe.
It's a candid script.
Exactly. And because of that, we rarely truly connect on a meaningful level. But imagine this. What if, instead of, how are you, you ask someone, maybe someone you know a little, what's something you're feeling excited about this week? Or what's been on your mind lately, really?
The whole tone changes.
Instantly, the air shifts. That person probably leans in a little, they pause, they actually have to search inside themselves for an answer. And in that moment, they realize you're not just making small talk, you actually genuinely seem to care about their inner world.
Yeah, you're inviting something real.
You are. The right question does something incredible. It makes people feel seen, truly seen. And being seen, being truly understood, as our research confirms, is one of the deepest, most fundamental human needs we have.
And it takes courage, doesn't it, to ask those deeper questions. It feels a bit vulnerable sometimes.
It does take courage, absolutely, because meaningful questions open doors. And when doors open, well, hearts might open too. And that requires trust and care. Think back, there's probably a reason you vividly remember certain people from your past. It's not always because they gave you amazing advice, right?
Not always, no.
Sometimes it's because they asked you something that made you pause, made you reflect, made you feel something profound. They asked a question that encouraged you to share something real about yourself. And when you share something real and it's received well, you forge a deep bond.
Okay, so what's the key to asking good questions? Is it about being clever?
The compelling insight here is that asking good questions isn't really about being clever or witty. It's about being profoundly curious. But crucially, it's curiosity without judgment. Curiosity without an agenda.
Curiosity without judgment. Got it.
When someone senses that your curiosity is pure, that you're genuinely interested in their perspective, not trying to trap them or diagnose them or show off, they open up without fear. They share without hesitation. They feel respected and valued.
So what kind of questions actually do that? Can you give some examples?
Sure, they're often simpler than you think. Real questions. Questions that genuinely ask about thoughts, feelings, experiences, memories, hopes, challenges. Questions like, what's something that's been challenging you lately if you feel like sharing? Or, if you could change one thing about your daily routine right now, what would it be and why? Or even something like, what's one thing you wish more people understood about you?
Those aren't complicated.
Not at all. They just require genuine attention and a willingness to listen to the answer. They invite a real, authentic response, not just a prepackaged one.
And the beauty is you don't have to, bombard every conversation with super deep questions, right?
Yeah.
It's about balance, sensing the right moment.
Exactly. It's about attunement, feeling the energy. When the moment feels right, when the conversation naturally softens or pauses, when the energy in the room is quiet enough, that's often the time you can gently drop in a question that matters a bit more.
And what about that potentially awkward silence after you ask a deeper question? Do we just let it hang there? I always feel the urge to jump in and fill it.
That's a common urge. But here's the often missed point, especially if you're working on your communication skills, maybe improving your English fluency and wanting to sound more natural. Don't rush to fill the silence afterward. Resist the urge.
Let it sit.
Let it sit. Let them think. Let them feel. Let them find their own words. That silence, that pause, some researchers call it sacred, because in that pause, understanding and connection are literally being born. They're processing.
Okay, sacred silence. I'll try to remember that.
It's also important to remember it's not always about having the perfect question. Sometimes it's profoundly about how you ask it. Your tone matters hugely. Your eye contact matters. Your stillness, your presence matters.
Like the how are you example.
Exactly. You can ask someone, how are you? And if your tone is flat, rushed, distracted, looking past them, they'll just give the default answer. Fine. Conversation over. But if you ask that same simple question gently, with genuine eye contact, with real presence, maybe even a slight pause after, they might pause too. And then say, actually, things have been a bit rough. And boom, suddenly you've opened a door to a deeper connection. It wasn't the words, it was the energy, the intention behind them.
What about those simple follow-up phrases that invite more? Things like, tell me more, or what was that like? They seem so basic, but maybe we overlook them.
They are absolute gold. Seriously. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say after someone shares something is simply, tell me more about that. That single open invitation encourages people to keep going, to trust you with more, to unravel something they might have been holding on too tightly. Or asking, what was that like for you? That specific phrase opens up the crucial emotional layer. It shifts from just reciting facts or events to exploring the impact, the feeling. And once someone taps into sharing emotion and you receive it well, they remember you. They remember that feeling of being understood on a deeper level.
Because people remember feelings more than facts.
They forget names, dates, details, but they never forget how someone made them feel. This is the secret. Great communicators ask because they genuinely care. They ask to connect, not to control the conversation, not to impress anyone, and certainly not just to buy time while they prepare their next witty remark. They ask, and then they stay quiet and listen. Because listening is the second, equally vital half of asking a great question.
Right, the listening part again.
Without deep listening afterward, a question is just noise. It doesn't land. But when you listen deeply after asking, you create space. And space, emotional space, mental space, is what people are starving for in this world. Not just space to talk about their job titles or accomplishments, but space to be truly human, flawed, uncertain, hopeful, real. When people feel that kind of space with you, they breathe deeper, they speak slower, they remember what truly matters to them. They often walk away feeling lighter, clearer. And they'll remember you as the person who gave them that rare, profound moment of being truly heard. You really can't underestimate how rare and valuable that is.
You're right, it's incredibly rare. The world is so loud, everyone's rushing, everyone wants to be heard. But the person who slows down looks you in the eye and genuinely asks, tell me what's on your mind, or what are you learning right now? They can change your whole day, maybe more.
They really can. And you don't need a fancy degree to ask powerful questions. You don't need years of specialized training. You just need a curious heart, genuine interest, and the unwavering willingness to be quiet and truly listen once the door opens. Because the best conversations aren't just filled with brilliant answers, they're filled with moments. Moments of honesty, moments of discovery, moments of shared presence.
And it helps the asker too, right? Not just the person answering.
Absolutely. Asking good questions makes you a better listener by default because you're actively seeking understanding. It makes you undeniably more likable because people feel seen and valued. And research even shows it significantly improves your own memory of the conversation because when you ask thoughtful questions, you're more deeply engaged, more present.
How does this apply in, say, business or teamwork?
Oh, it's gold in those contexts. Ask your clients, beyond the project goals, what does real success feel like for you and your team? Ask your colleagues, what's one thing I could do this week to better support your work? Instead of assuming, ask.
And in personal relationships.
Even more crucial, instead of getting into the same old argument pattern, pause and ask, what are you really needing from me in this moment? Or, when I did X, what did that make you feel? Help me understand. Or, what made you feel unheard just now?
Using questions to clarify instead of assuming.
Exactly. Questions clear the air. They can heal tension before it escalates. They build bridges. Even in moments of conflict, perhaps, especially in conflict, they shift the energy dramatically. Instead of saying, you never listen, which guarantees defensiveness, try asking, I'm wondering, do you feel like I'm fully hearing you right now?
That's a very different energy.
Totally different. Instead of accusing, you're inviting collaboration. You're exploring together. And that's what healthy communication should feel like. A shared journey towards understanding, not a battlefield where someone has to win and someone has to lose.
Okay, so if someone asks us a real thoughtful question, how should we receive it? Sometimes I find myself getting defensive or giving a surface answer even when someone means well.
That's a very common reaction. We're often not used to being asked deeper questions, so we might get defensive or shut down or just give the quick, easy answer. But if you want to build connection, when someone offers you the gift of a real question, try to receive it with presence too. Pause. Breathe. Answer from your heart, not just your head. Be willing to be a little vulnerable if it feels safe.
Respond with presence.
Yeah. You'll find that questions create connection both ways. You grow together, you learn together, you build trust layer by layer. And sometimes, remember, the best question isn't for others, it's for yourself. Ask yourself, what am I truly feeling right now? Why did that interaction affect me so much? What do I need most in this season of my life?
The inner inquiry.
Exactly. The more you practice asking meaningful questions inwardly, the better you'll become at both asking and answering them outwardly. Self-awareness and great communication are always, always profoundly intertwined. So if you want to improve how you connect with others, start by improving the quality of the questions you bring into the room and the quality of your listening afterward. Be curious, be intentional, be present, because good questions are keys, and when used with care, they unlock people, they unlock understanding, and they powerfully unlock trust.
Okay, let's move into what our sources call the refinements. These feel like the next level up in communication mastery. First one, the power of not interrupting. This is a big one, and it often starts as a totally unconscious habit, right?
Oh, hugely unconscious for most people.
A quick thought pops in your head, an idea bubbles up while someone else is still mid-sentence, and bam. Before you know it, you've cut them off. You didn't mean to be rude. Maybe your brain just felt like it was running ahead. But now the moment's broken. The flow is gone.
Exactly. Interrupting, as our studies consistently show, is one of the most common blocks to deep, meaningful communication. And like you said, most of the time people don't even know they're doing it as much as they are.
We've all done it. In conversations with friends, definitely in meetings, especially in heated discussions. We jump in too early. We finish other people's sentences for them. We rush their story along. We assume we already know where they're going, so we just take over.
Right. But here's the hard truth we need to grasp. Every single time you interrupt someone, whether you intend to or not, you send a clear, albeit often unspoken, message.
What's the message?
The message is usually interpreted as, what I have to say right now is more important than what you're currently saying. Or, I already know where this is going, so let me just cut to the chase. Or even, your way of explaining this is too slow or inefficient for me.
Ouch. Yeah, that doesn't feel good on the receiving end.
It doesn't. Slowly, subtly, without perhaps ever meaning to, you make people feel small, dismissed, unimportant.
What do we miss when we interrupt, besides potentially hurting feelings?
We miss the real emotion, often. When you interrupt, you essentially cut the thread of their thought process, their narrative. You often miss the point where the true feeling lives, where the clarity was about to settle, where the full meaning was just about to land. If you cut in too soon, that crucial culmination is lost. They might never get back to it.
Yeah, the moment passes.
Think about how you feel when you're interrupted. You're talking, you're trying to explain something, maybe something complex or emotional, and someone just jumps in, derails you. You feel...
Yeah, a little dismissed, a little disrespected, like maybe your voice, your perspective isn't quite worth the wait.
That's not a feeling people easily forget, especially if it happens repeatedly with the same person. They just start sharing less.
So, by consciously mastering this, by not interrupting, you become rare. Is that part of the goal?
Yeah.
To stand out simply by letting others finish.
It's certainly a powerful side effect. By training yourself not to interrupt, you do more than just avoid being rude. You genuinely become rare in today's fast-paced world. You become someone people want to talk to. Why? Because they feel safe finishing their thoughts around you.
They feel safe. That word again.
It's key. They feel important. They feel like their words, their pace, their process actually matters to you. Now, it takes discipline, real conscious effort, because sometimes your brain is racing ahead. Sometimes your insight feels incredibly urgent and brilliant.
Right, you want to share it.
Of course. But often, the most powerful thing you can do in that moment is just pause, breathe. Let them land their plane. Let their sentence complete fully. And then, when there's a natural pause, an undeniable space, step in, gently. Respond with care, with presence, with the clarity you've gained from truly listening.
So it's not about being silent forever.
Not at all. It's not about letting conversations drag on pointlessly or never sharing your own perspective. It simply means choosing conscious timing over impulsive speed. It means respecting the natural give-and-take rhythm of a healthy conversation.
Timing over speed.
Yeah, and here's another secret benefit. People are far more likely to truly listen to you when you do speak, if they feel you have genuinely listened to them first. It builds reciprocity. Communication isn't a race to see who can talk the most. It's more like a dance. And in a dance, you don't step on your partner's feet just to get ahead.
Nice analogy.
There's a quiet confidence, too, that comes with patience. The person who doesn't feel the need to rush in and dominate the airspace often speaks with far more impact when they do choose their moment. Their words feel more considered, more weighty, because they're not just chasing attention, they're choosing their contribution carefully.
Right.
That's powerful.
Okay, for those of us listening who realize, oops, I interrupt kind of a lot, what's a simple, actionable practice we can start with today? Like right now?
Our research suggests a very simple yet surprisingly effective micro-practice. Take one full, conscious breath before speaking after someone else is finished.
Just one breath.
Just one deliberate breath. Even if the other person is clearly finished talking, just pause, inhale, exhale calmly, then respond. That single breath does two crucial things. First, it gives your brain a split second to truly absorb what they just said, rather than just reacting to the last few words. And second, it subtly, non-verbally signals to them that you're being thoughtful, that you're not just launching into a pre-planned rebuttal, but actually considering their words before responding. People can feel that intentionality, and they respect it deeply.
One breath. I can try that.
Yeah.
But what about times when you really do need to jump in, like the person is rambling way off topic, or there's a strict time limit, or you need to clarify something critical right away?
Great question. Of course, there will be times when a gentle interruption is necessary and appropriate. The key is to do it respectfully, with care, and using language that clearly acknowledges their voice before redirecting.
No.
You could say things like, "Excuse me, can I pause you for just a second? What you just said about X really stood out to me. Could we explore that?"
Right.
Or, "I hear you, and I want to make sure I'm understanding correctly before you move on. Can I ask something quickly about that last point?" Or even, "Knowing we have just a few minutes left, could we circle back to the main decision we need to make?"
So it frames it differently.
Exactly. When you frame it that way, using softening language and showing you were listening, it doesn't feel like a hostile takeover or a dismissal. It feels like collaborative engagement, like you're trying to keep the conversation productive and clear for everyone. And that's the ultimate goal, right? To stay connected, to keep the conversation alive and moving forward effectively, not to hijack it for your own agenda. Every conversation you have truly is an opportunity to build or break trust. And one of the fastest ways to build it is simply by showing someone, through your patient listening, that their words matter enough for you to wait. Let others finish. Let them unfold their thoughts fully. Don't race them, don't rush them. Because when they're done and they feel truly heard, they'll turn to you with much more openness, more interest, more care. And that's when your voice, your message truly lands with impact.
Okay, shifting gears slightly within these refinements, let's talk about another absolutely crucial one. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. We're talking about tone here.
Tone. Yes. Hugely important.
Tone is like the music behind your words, isn't it? The emotion you carry in your voice. And people hear it loud and clear, even when they don't consciously realize they're listening for it.
It's incredibly pervasive.
Yeah. Imagine just hearing the simple words, "Are you okay?" Now imagine hearing them said three different ways. First voice. Soft, slow, warm, maybe leaning in slightly. How do you feel?
Safe, cared for, invited to share.
Right. Second voice. Fast, clipped, maybe a bit impatient, looking at their watch. "Are you okay?" Now, how do you feel?
Rushed, judged maybe, like I'm an inconvenience, hesitant to say if I'm not okay.
Exactly. Third voice. Dripping with sarcasm, maybe with a slight eye roll audible in the voice.
I be okay?
Feeling?
Beep.
Insulted, annoyed, shut down completely, definitely not sharing anything real.
Same three words, totally different feelings elicited. And that right there, as our research perfectly illustrates, is the immense, often underestimated power of tone. Tone is genuinely one of the most powerful yet underrated tools in the entire communication toolkit. Its impact is massive. Your tone can build trust instantly or shatter it in a second. It can make someone feel profoundly safe and seen or make them feel small, stupid, and insignificant. It can bring immense comfort in hard times or create utter confusion and anxiety. You might earnestly say afterwards, "But I didn't mean it like that." We've all said that, right? But if your tone didn't align with your intended words, people won't primarily hear your words. They'll deeply feel your underlying attitude, your energy.
They feel the attitude.
They do. Most people don't consciously study their tone. They think the message itself, the content, the facts are what matter most. But human beings fundamentally are emotional creatures. We don't just process facts neutrally, we feel everything.
Yeah.
And here's the key insight from communication science. People respond far more strongly to how they feel around you than to the literal dictionary definition of the words you say.
Wow. More to how they feel.
Way more. You could offer the most brilliant logical advice, say all the technically right things, present the perfect solution on paper, but if your tone while doing it feels sharp, cold, condescending, bored, dismissive, or fake, it simply won't land. The message gets rejected because the feeling was negative.
So where does our tone even come from? Is it just baked into our personality, something we're born with? Or can we actually develop and manage it?
That's a great question. Tone doesn't just magically originate from your vocal cords alone. It's a complex output. It comes directly from your internal energy state, the pattern of your breath, your underlying emotions in that moment, and critically, your true, often unconscious intention.
Impact it again.
Always intention. If you speak while feeling rushed and stressed, your tone will naturally carry that clipped urgency. If you speak while genuinely angry or resentful, your tone will carry that tightness, that edge. If you speak while feeling genuine warmth or empathy, your tone effortlessly carries that softness, that connection. You can try to fake tone for a little while, maybe put on a phone voice, but you can't sustain it for long. Your real emotions, your real energy, inevitably leak through. So the secret isn't really to meticulously try and fix your tone, like adjusting dials on a machine. The real secret is to become profoundly aware of it.
Awareness is the first step.
Always. Before you respond, especially in a potentially charged situation, take that breath and ask yourself with genuine curiosity, what am I really feeling right now? And is this emotion, this energy I'm carrying actually helping this moment, or is it likely to hurt it?
That's a powerful self-check. So can you then intentionally shift your tone based on that awareness? Or does it just happen organically once you're aware?
Both, really. Awareness is the foundation, but yes, you absolutely can make intentional shifts once you're aware. For example, when a discussion starts to get tense or heated, you can consciously choose to slow your rate of speech down, lower your volume slightly. Keep your voice steady, even if theirs is rising. Your calm can become contagious. It can literally anchor the space and de-escalate the situation.
Be the calm.
Be the calm. When someone is expressing sadness or vulnerability, you can intentionally speak with more softness, more gentleness. Let them hear comfort and safety in your voice, even if your words are simple like, I'm so sorry, or that sounds really hard. Your tone in that moment is the message of care.
What about teaching or explaining something?
When you're teaching or explaining something complex, articulate clearly, yes, but avoid speaking too fast. Give ample space between key ideas. Use your tone, maybe slightly more emphasis here, a pause there to help people absorb the information rather than feeling rushed or overwhelmed.
Pacing matters too then, not just volume or softness.
Pacing is huge. The speed of your speech communicates emotion. Fast speech often signals anxiety, excitement, or sometimes even nervousness. Slower speech tends to feel more reflective, thoughtful, deliberate, and calming. And your pauses, don't underestimate them. They are incredibly powerful punctuation marks in spoken language. They give people time to breathe with you, to feel with you, to process.
And you mentioned silence earlier. Can silence itself be a tone?
Absolutely. Sometimes the best, most powerful, most compassionate tone is no tone at all. Just silence. When you genuinely don't know what to say in the face of someone's pain or confusion, sometimes saying nothing for a moment, just being fully present with them, is the kindest response. Let your calm presence be your message. People don't always need a clever reply or a fix. Sometimes they just need to feel they're not alone in their experience. And silence, when held with genuine warmth and presence, can say, I'm with you, louder and more profoundly than any words.
Wow.
Look, you don't need a perfect broadcaster's voice or years of vocal coaching to manage your tone effectively. You just need awareness, intention, practice, and care. Every single conversation is an opportunity to make someone feel a little bit better or a little bit worse, and most of the time, your tone is what decides which way it goes. So speak with presence. Breathe before you answer. Slow down when things get loud or tense. And strive to let your voice become a safe place in a very noisy world.
Okay, the final refinement we'll touch on. Say it so they get it. The gift of clarity. This feels essential. You can say a lot of brilliant things, have amazing ideas, but if people don't understand you, have you really communicated at all?
Exactly. You've basically said nothing of value if the message didn't land. Clarity is the essential bridge between the thoughts and ideas inside your head and their understanding inside theirs. It's not necessarily about using fancy vocabulary or overly clever, complex sentence structures. In fact, often it's the opposite. It's about being clear, clean, concise, and simple enough for the listener to easily grasp. Because communication, remember, isn't primarily about demonstrating how much you know. It's about how effectively you make others feel like they know and understand it too.
I like that. Making others feel they know it. That's a great framing, like giving directions.
Perfect analogy. Think about the last time someone gave you directions and you still ended up completely lost. They talked fast, used street names you didn't know, maybe pointed vaguely, and ended with a cheerful, you can't miss it.
Huh. Famous last words.
Right. You didn't feel informed, you felt confused, maybe frustrated, maybe even a bit stupid. Now imagine someone else gave you directions like this. Okay, go straight down this road for about 2 blocks until you see the big bakery with the bright red door. Got it.
Yep.
Great. Turn left right there at the bakery. The place you're looking for is the second building down on your right side. It has a noticeable green awning over the window.
Ah, clear picture. Confidence.
Exactly. You'd smile, thank them, and walk away feeling confident you could find it. That's what clarity feels like to the listener. Relief, understanding, confidence. When you speak, your job isn't just to dump the information that's on your mind. It's to skillfully guide someone into your way of thinking so they see it clearly, so they feel it, so they genuinely get it without having to struggle.
But isn't there a perception sometimes that using complex language makes you sound smarter?
Yeah.
People try to impress with big words.
Yeah, that's a common misconception and often a trap. People frequently confuse complexity with intelligence. They believe that sounding smart means using jargon, crafting convoluted sentences, and burying the point under layers of abstraction. But in reality, true intelligence, true mastery of a subject is most powerfully demonstrated in simplicity.
Simplicity shows mastery.
Absolutely. The best communicators, the best teachers, the best leaders have an incredible knack for taking grand, complex ideas and making them small enough to hold, easy enough to carry, and clear enough for others to actually use. Think Einstein's EMC2, profound complexity distilled into stunning simplicity. And when people truly understand you because you've made it clear and accessible, what happens?
They trust you more.
They trust you more. They're more likely to follow your lead. They'll remember your message. Clarity unequivocally builds connection and credibility. Obfuscation and complexity often breed suspicion or confusion.
Okay, so how do we actually achieve this clarity in our day-to-day communication? What are the actionable steps? Especially maybe for someone working on improving their English communication skills where clarity is just paramount.
Great question. Okay, practical steps for clarity. First, know your core message before you even open your mouth. This doesn't mean scripting everything, but it means taking just a second to ask yourself, what is the absolute single most important thing I want this person or group to take away? If they remember only one thing from this conversation, what should it be?
One core message.
Identify it. Then ruthlessly cut the clutter. If a detail, an anecdote, a tangent doesn't directly support or illuminate that core message, seriously consider leaving it out. Less is often more when it comes to clarity.
Okay, cut the clutter. What else?
Second, speak in pictures.
Yeah.
Use metaphors, analogies, vivid mental images. Our brains are wired for visuals. Instead of saying, our company must implement optimized strategic cross-functional synergies to leverage core competencies, which is just corporate jargon.
Ugh, yeah. Meaningless.
Right. Try saying, we need all our departments to work together like one strong rowing team, everyone pulling in the same direction at the same time towards that shared finish line. People see that. They feel it. They get it instantly.
Speak in pictures. Got it.
Third, use pauses effectively. We talked about this with tone, but it's huge for clarity too. Let each key idea breathe. Don't try to cram 10 thoughts into one long, rambling sentence. Focus on one idea, one point, one sentence at a time. Then pause. Let it land before moving on. Give people time to process.
Pauses for processing.
Okay. Fourth, use examples and stories. If you introduce an abstract concept like emotional intelligence or growth mindset or system thinking, immediately follow it up with a concrete story, a simple real-world example, something tangible the listener can relate to from their own experience. Abstraction plus example, clarity.
Make it concrete.
Fifth, check for understanding. But, and this is key, not in a condescending teacher testing the student way. Do it in a genuinely human, collaborative, caring way. Ask things like, does that make sense so far? Or, am I explaining this clearly? Or, have you ever experienced something like that? Or, how does that land for you? When you check in like that, you show respect, you show you care about their understanding, and you actively create space for dialogue and clarification.
Collaborative checking. I like that.
And finally, remember to match your clarity of words with clarity of delivery. Slow down your pace, especially when explaining something important. Use your tone to emphasize what truly matters. Don't rush your words. Don't mumble. Don't run over your own message. Sometimes we speak too fast out of nervousness, or maybe because we're subconsciously used to being interrupted or ignored. But here's the empowering truth. When you speak clearly and deliberately, people want to listen. They lean in.
So clarity isn't about perfection.
Not at all. It doesn't mean every sentence has to be grammatically perfect or brilliantly crafted. It simply means you're being intentional. You're taking the time and care to shape your message so the other person doesn't have to struggle and strain to decode it. You're making it easy for them to understand you. And this matters everywhere. At work, presenting ideas, at home, discussing feelings, in friendships, making plans, in love, expressing needs. If you genuinely want better conversations, clearer communication is non-negotiable.
Can you give us maybe a few specific before and after examples, like in a conflict or a business pitch or just a personal relationship moment?
Sure, absolutely. Let's take a conflict situation. Instead of the vague, accusatory, and unclear statement, "You never listen to me," which just invites defensiveness.
Right, the classic.
Try the clearer, more specific I statement. When I'm talking about something important to me and I see you checking your phone, I feel invisible and unimportant. See the difference? It's specific, it explains the impact, it's clear.
Much clearer. And less attacking. Okay, a business pitch.
Instead of vague buzzwords like, "Our innovative platform is revolutionary and disruptive, offering synergistic solutions," which means nothing.
Painful.
Try tangible clarity. "Our platform helps teams like yours cut their project delivery times by an average of 30%, which typically saves them around $10,000 a month in operating costs." Now that's clarity. It's specific, benefit-driven, understandable.
Numbers and clear benefits. Got it. And giving a speech or presentation.
If you're giving a speech and feel nervous, avoid the temptation to ramble or overload people with too many facts and stats just to prove you know your stuff. Instead, focus on one key message. Make it human. Tell a compelling story that illustrates it. And try to speak as if you're just talking naturally to a small group of interested friends over coffee. Connection over complexity. The goal isn't to impress with jargon, it's to connect with clarity.
Connect with clarity.
Okay.
And finally, in personal relationships, that moment when something's wrong.
Yes. When someone asks what's wrong,
Yeah.
and you're clearly upset or withdrawn, please don't just shrug and mutter the dismissive and unclear nothing. That helps no one.
Right. The nothing that means everything.
Exactly. Instead, try offering clear, honest information, even if it's about needing space. Actually, I do feel a little off today, maybe a bit overwhelmed. I don't think I'm ready to talk about it just yet, but I appreciate you asking. Maybe I just need a bit of quiet space for a while. That's real, it's honest, it respects the other person's concern, and it's undeniably clear about your need.
That's so much better than nothing.
So much better. Look, people aren't mind readers. If you want to be understood, if you want connection, you have the responsibility to make yourself understandable. The best communicators aren't always the loudest or the most eloquent. Often, they are simply the clearest. They make people feel calm, seen, and safe because clarity inherently brings a sense of order and peace. And the benefits for you. When you prioritize speaking with clarity, fewer arguments based on misunderstanding, less drama, better results at work and home, deeper respect from others, and honestly, a profound sense of inner peace because you know you're expressing yourself authentically and effectively. People will leave conversations with you feeling like something finally made sense. That's a true gift, and it's a skill you're now consciously mastering.
That brings us beautifully to another powerful, maybe even deeper layer of communication. The unspoken language. Emotional intelligence in conversation. We just touched on it with tone and body language. That feeling, you get the tension you might sense walking into a room or meeting someone new, and just knowing intuitively if they feel warm and open or guarded and closed off, often without a single word being spoken.
Yeah.
That's emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
or EQ, at play.
That gut feeling.
Yeah, it's that ability to read between the lines, isn't it? To notice the feelings simmering beneath the surface of the words, to understand not just what someone says, but what they truly mean, and maybe even more importantly, what they feel as they say it.
Absolutely. If communication were simply about the logical exchange of information like computers swapping data, we'd probably all be experts by now, but it's not. True communication, the kind that builds strong relationships and gets things done effectively, is fundamentally about connection. And connection, as our research consistently points out, happens primarily on that emotional level, beneath the surface of the words.
Can you elaborate on that? How does EQ help us read those feelings?
Well, you've likely experienced this yourself. Someone says all the technically correct words, maybe, "I'm sorry," or "that's a great idea," or "I'm fine," but something just feels off, right?
Yeah, totally. You get that discordant feeling.
Exactly. Maybe their tone was flat when the words were positive. Maybe their eyes didn't quite match their smile. The smile didn't reach the eyes. Maybe they emphatically stated, "I'm fine." But everything about their clenched jaw, their rigid posture, their shallow breathing screamed the absolute opposite.
The body doesn't lie.
Often it doesn't. That's precisely where emotional intelligence steps in. It's not about being psychic or making wild guesses. It's about being profoundly present and observant. It's about noticing those tiny, often fleeting signals, the subtle hesitation before someone answers a direct question, the slight drop in their voice when a particular sensitive topic comes up, the way their shoulders might subtly slump when a certain person enters the room or joins the call.
Tiny signal.
Tiny signals, but potent ones. They're like little windows into the emotions that words might be trying to conceal or manage. A person who is developing their social awareness, their EQ, doesn't just hear the words. They feel the emotional undercurrent. They can walk into a room and instinctively sense the level of tension or joy or sadness or enthusiasm, often before a single word needs to be spoken about it.
And how does that awareness help them communicate better?
That deep awareness is incredibly valuable because it helps them adjust their own approach accordingly. It informs them. It helps them know when it's better to speak up versus when it might be wiser to simply be present and listen, when it might be appropriate to gently probe deeper versus when it's crucial to respectfully pause and give space, when to offer a challenge versus when to offer comfort and support. It allows for much more nuanced and effective interaction.
But emotional intelligence isn't just about reading others, is it? Our source is stress. It starts with reading yourself first. This feels like the harder part for many of us, because facing our own emotions can be uncomfortable, even confronting.
This is absolutely crucial, and yes, often the more challenging part. True EQ starts with self-awareness. It's about knowing your own triggers, what pushes your buttons. It's about recognizing your own typical emotional patterns. How do you usually react when you feel criticized or ignored or overwhelmed? It's about understanding your own go-to communication habits when you're under pressure. Because here's the undeniable neurological truth. When strong emotion goes up, rational intelligence often goes down. Think about it in your own life. You get really angry, and suddenly you're saying things you later regret, things that aren't even true. You feel deeply insecure, and maybe you start talking excessively, overcompensating just to fill the silence. You get nervous before a presentation, and your voice gets shaky, your thoughts scatter, and your carefully planned words lose their power.
Yeah, emotion hijacks the thinking brain.
It absolutely can. So the goal of developing EQ isn't to become emotionless, like some kind of robot. That's not healthy or realistic. The goal is to become aware of your emotions as they arise, to be able to recognize what's happening inside you. I'm feeling defensive right now, or wow, I'm feeling really anxious, and then consciously choose your response instead of just reacting blindly on autopilot based on that feeling.
Choose your response. That's the key.
That is true power. That is real presence. That is emotional intelligence in action. And when you can seamlessly combine that inner self-awareness with the ability to deeply tune into the emotional state of others, you become a communication powerhouse. You navigate situations with much more grace and effectiveness.
So how does that actually look in real life? Can you give us some practical, everyday examples of EQ in action, something we might recognize?
Sure. Let's revisit that meeting scenario. Someone expresses strong disagreement with your idea, maybe even criticizes it harshly. Your immediate gut reaction might be defensiveness, anger, wanting to lash back.
Right, fight or flight.
Exactly. But instead of letting that reaction take over, you practice the pause. You take a deep breath. You acknowledge the feeling rising inside you. Okay, feeling attacked right now. But you don't let it drive your words. Instead, you respond calmly, maybe saying something like, okay, I hear your concern. Help me understand your perspective better. What are you seeing that I might be missing? Now, instead of escalating into an argument, you've gracefully invited a dialogue, a chance for mutual understanding.
Diffusing it with curiosity.
Exactly. Or maybe you're having a tough conversation with a friend or partner. They're clearly upset about something, but they're not saying much, just being quiet, maybe withdrawn. You notice the heaviness in their voice, the way they won't quite meet your eye. Your instinct might be to push them, what's wrong? Just tell me.
Yeah, try to fix it.
Right, try to fix it or force it out. But with emotional intelligence, you sense their need for space or time. So instead of pushing, you might softly say something like, hey, I can sense something's weighing on you. I'm here to listen whenever you feel ready to talk. No pressure, just take your time. That response, born from reading their cues, offers safety and respects their process. That's EQ.
It's about tuning in.
It's about being deeply tuned in, listening with your whole body. your intuition, not just your ears. When you practice this consistently, you make better decisions because you're factoring in the emotional data. You navigate conflict much more constructively. You lead teams more effectively because you understand motivation and morale. You build stronger, deeper relationships because people feel truly understood and safe with you. Because when people feel genuinely understood on an emotional level, truly profoundly felt walls come down, hearts open up, and conversations naturally go deeper. Trust blossoms.
This feels so fundamental, yet again, it's not something most of us were explicitly taught. So how do we build this skill now? As adults, what's the practice look like?
It's never too late to start building your EQ muscle. It really is like a muscle. It gets stronger with practice. A few things you can do. First, start simple. Check in with yourself a few times a day. Just pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Try to name the emotions specifically, not just good or bad, but maybe anxious, grateful, frustrated, hopeful, disappointed. Don't judge the feeling, just acknowledge it, name it. The simple act of naming an emotion starts to give you a bit of distance and control over it.
Name it to tame it.
Kind of. Second, practice the pause religiously. When something triggers an emotional reaction in you, someone cuts you off in traffic, you get critical feedback, you feel misunderstood, don't rush to speak or act. Take one conscious breath, maybe two. Create that crucial tiny space between the stimulus, the trigger, and your response. That space is where emotional intelligence lives and grows. It's where you choose your response instead of just reacting.
The pause is powerful.
Incredibly. Third, start observing others with softer, more curious eyes. When someone snaps at you, instead of immediately judging them as a jerk, gently ask yourself, I wonder what's going on for them today. What might they be carrying that's making them react this way? When someone pulls away or seems distant, don't immediately assume it's about you or that they dislike you. Get curious, maybe gently check in if appropriate, but don't personalize automatically. This doesn't mean you excuse genuinely bad behavior, of course, but it helps you respond from a place of centered strength and empathy, rather than just reacting from your own ego or hurt.
Curiosity over judgment.
Yes. And finally, crucially, practice repair. Emotional intelligence shines brightest, not when everything is going perfectly smoothly, but when things inevitably break down or get messy. Be willing to own your part. Be willing to say, you know what, I was wrong about that, or I'm sorry I didn't mean for my words to hurt you, or I realize I overreacted earlier. Be willing to say, I'm still learning how to handle these situations better. You don't lose respect by showing your humanity and willingness to learn. You gain it.
Practicing repair. That takes humility.
It takes humility, courage, and self-awareness. The most powerful communicators aren't the most polished or flawless. They are the most real. They can speak from the heart because they've spent time sitting with their own heart, the messy parts included. They connect deeply with others because they've practiced being present with their own pain, their own joy, their own fear. And that authentic presence translates into every single conversation they have.
And that point about emotion being contagious, it feels so true. Your emotional state really does affect the whole room, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I could definitely feel when someone's anxiety or their calm starts to spread.
It absolutely is contagious. We're wired for social synchrony. If you walk into a room carrying a lot of tension, anxiety, irritation, or negativity, even if you plaster on a smile and say all the right polite things, others will feel it on a subconscious level. The energy gets heavy.
You feel the tension.
But the opposite is also true. If you walk in feeling grounded, calm, open, curious, genuinely positive, that energy spreads too. It can lighten the mood, make people feel safer, encourage more open communication. You truly lead with your energy even before you lead with your words. And that's why learning to manage your own internal emotional state is one of the highest forms of communication mastery.
Manage your state.
The more you understand your own emotional landscape, the better you'll inevitably understand everyone else's. You'll start to see the bigger picture. You might realize that the angry person is probably acting out of hurt or fear, that the quiet person might be overwhelmed or processing deeply, that the overly loud person might be masking insecurity. And once you start seeing people through that lens of underlying emotion and unmet needs, you stop judging them so harshly. You start connecting with their shared humanity. And connection, real, honest, deep connection, that's what communication is ultimately for, isn't it?
Beautifully put. Okay, building directly on that understanding of emotion, let's tackle something many people dread. Handling difficult conversations without losing yourself. Let's be honest, just the thought of some conversations can make your stomach clench, right?
Oh, yeah. That tightness in the chest, the racing thoughts.
Exactly. That feeling Right before you have to give tough feedback or address a conflict or talk about something really sensitive, you know it won't be easy. You know emotions might run high, yours and theirs. You worry you might say the wrong thing, make it worse, or regret it later.
Mm-hmm. Avoidance kicks in.
And that's precisely why most people avoid these conversations. They stay quiet, they let things slide, they brush uncomfortable truths under the rug, they hope the problem will just magically disappear on its own.
But it rarely does it?
Almost never. It usually builds, it festers, it comes out sideways in passive-aggressive comments or sarcastic jokes or that awkward heavy silence or just growing distance between people. The truth is, your ability or inability to handle difficult conversations constructively directly impacts the quality and health of all your important relationships. At work, in your love life, with family, with friends, even how you handle internal conflicts with yourself.
It's a core life skill.
It really is. Because misunderstandings will happen. There will always be moments when someone hurts your feelings or when you inadvertently hurt someone else's. There will be decisions you strongly disagree with, values that clash, boundaries that get crossed unintentionally or intentionally. Avoiding the necessary conversation doesn't actually solve the underlying issue. It often just delays the damage and makes the eventual reckoning even harder.
Yeah.
So the crucial question is, how do you step into those tough, emotionally charged moments without losing your cool, without damaging the connection further, without losing your sense of self in the process?
It's such a vital portion, and our research indicates something interesting. Strong, resilient relationships aren't typically ones where people never fight or disagree. That's unrealistic. Strong relationships are often the ones where people have learned how to fight fair, where they can listen even when it's incredibly difficult, where they prioritize understanding over winning, and where they often come out stronger, with more trust and clarity, because they navigated the difficulty together.
Okay, so how do we fight fair? Where do we start when we know a conversation will be tough?
It begins, yet again, with very clear intention. Before you even open your mouth to start that difficult conversation, get profoundly clear within yourself on why you are having it. Ask yourself honestly, what is my primary goal here? Am I trying to punish this person, to blame them, to make them feel bad, or am I genuinely trying to understand their perspective and share mine to find a resolution or deeper connection? Am I trying to control the outcome, or am I trying to connect despite the difficulty?
Intention shapes the energy.
Absolutely, because your underlying energy, your true intention, will come through loud and clear, often much louder than your actual words. If your intention is to attack, they'll feel attacked, no matter how carefully you phrase things. If your intention is genuinely to understand and connect, they're more likely to feel that too.
Okay, so set a positive intention. Then what?
Then breathe deeply. Not just one shallow breath, not just casually, but take a few moments before you enter the conversation to consciously, deeply breathe. Ground yourself. Give your body physical space to calm down. Because when your body goes into that fight or flight stress response, your rational mind effectively goes offline. Your brain becomes your enemy. It rushes to judgment. It reacts defensively. It focuses on protection and winning, not on communication and connection. So you pause. You ground yourself. You choose presence over panic. Then you speak.
And the key when speaking, it sounds like, is to focus on your own experience, not on blaming the other person. Using those I statements we talked about for clarity.
Exactly. Speak from your own experience, not about their perceived faults or character flaws. This is critical. Instead of launching in with, you always, or you never, or you're so, which are guaranteed to trigger defensiveness.
The you accusations.
Right. Try framing it from your perspective using I statements instead of, you never listened to me. Try, when I'm trying to share something important and I feel unheard, I tend to shut down. Instead of, you're always late and disrespecting my time. Try, when our meeting starts 15 minutes late because I'm waiting, I feel frustrated because it impacts the rest of my schedule. See the shift.
Yeah, it's about your feeling and the specific behavior, not their character.
Precisely. You're not attacking them as a person. You're revealing your own truth, your own feelings in response to a specific situation. You're inviting understanding of your experience rather than demanding they admit fault. It's much less confrontational and much more likely to lead to dialogue.
Okay, so you speak your piece clearly and calmly. What about when it's your turn to listen to their side, especially if it's something difficult to hear?
This is often the hardest part. When it's your turn to listen, you have to truly listen. Resist the urge to just wait for your chance to argue back or correct them. Don't mentally rehearse your rebuttal while they're still talking. Try to listen with your whole self, your ears, your eyes, your heart. Listen like their perspective matters, even if you profoundly disagree with it, because it matters to them.
Listen like their heart matters.
Yeah, and be prepared. It might hurt. You might hear things that sting, that challenge your view of yourself or the situation. You might hear accusations that feel unfair, but try your best to stay open. Remind yourself that what they are saying may not be the objective capital T truth, but it is their truth, their perception, their experience in that moment. And you cannot truly connect with someone, you cannot resolve conflict effectively if you refuse to even try to step into their reality for a moment and understand how it looks and feels from their side.
Stay open even when it stings. That's tough. What about silence during these difficult moments? Is it okay to just let things hang in the air, or does that make it worse? Do we need to rush towards a resolution?
This is so important, especially in sensitive, emotionally charged moments. Allow the silence. Let it breathe. You don't have to fill every single space with noise, with justifications, with solutions. Sometimes the most powerful connection, the most profound understanding, happens in the pause after something difficult has been said.
Let the pause do its work.
Let it do its work. You can simply say something quiet like, okay, I hear that, or thank you for being honest with me, or even just, wow, I need a moment to just sit with that. This shows strength, not weakness. It shows you're taking them seriously. And please remember, it is perfectly okay to not resolve everything in one single conversation. Some hurts take time to heal, some complex issues require multiple conversations, some understanding requires space and reflection. Don't rush to find a neat and tidy closure just to alleviate your own discomfort with attention.
It's okay if it's messy for a bit.
It's absolutely okay. Because true communication isn't always about winning or achieving perfect agreement. Sometimes it's simply about reaching towards each other. It's about being willing to see each other, even in the tension, and saying, implicitly or explicitly, this is hard, but I'm still here, we'll figure this out. Also, crucially, respect boundaries. If someone says explicitly or through their body language, I can't talk about this right now, I need some space, don't push them. Respect that. Say, okay, I understand. Please let me know when might be a better time. And equally important, if you're the one feeling overwhelmed or too triggered to continue constructively, learn to ask for space clearly and respectfully yourself. Say, this conversation is really important to me, but I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. Can we please pause and come back to this tomorrow when I can be more present? That's emotional maturity. That's self-care and relationship care. That's power.
So even if the conversation doesn't end with everyone hugging and agreeing, it can still be considered a success. That feels different from how we're often taught to think about conflict resolution, like there has to be a clear winner or a perfect compromise right away.
Absolutely. It can still be a success. Success in difficult conversations isn't always about achieving perfect resolution or total agreement in that moment. Sometimes success is simply about showing up with courage and honesty. It's about listening with grace and empathy, even when it's hard. It's about speaking your truth with respect. It's about walking away with your dignity and theirs intact, even if you still disagree.
Showing up well is success.
It is. The more you practice navigating these conversations with intention and these skills, the less scary they become over time. You stop fearing discomfort quite as much. You start seeing it as a potential bridge, a necessary path towards deeper trust and understanding rather than just a threat. And yes, it does get easier. You start to trust yourself more. You learn that you can handle hard things without losing your cool completely. You discover you can stay grounded even in the heat of an emotional exchange. And that fosters a powerful kind of inner peace, the kind that says, I don't need to run from difficult truths. I have the capacity to meet them with courage and care.
What about the other person, though? What if they're not using these skills? What if they're yelling or blaming?
That's the reality sometimes, isn't it? Here's the key boundary. You absolutely cannot control the other person's tone, their empathy, their willingness to listen, or their communication skills. You just can't. But you can always control your own response. You can choose to model healthy communication, even if they don't reciprocate. You can choose to protect your own peace by not getting sucked into unnecessary drama or escalating negativity. You can refuse to become someone you're not proud of just to win a fight.
Control your response.
And interestingly, over time, your calm might subtly invite theirs. Your presence might soften their edge. Your consistent choice to stay grounded and respectful, even when they're not, might eventually shift the entire dynamic. It doesn't always work, but it's surprising how often modeling the behavior you want to see can influence a situation positively. Conflict, when handled with as much love and intention as you can muster, truly can become a bridge to deeper understanding, not just a destructive wall.
And view conflict as a teacher.
Yes. Try to view conflict not just as a problem to be solved, but as a teacher, a mirror, a guide. It often shows you exactly where you need clearer boundaries. It highlights where you might still have old wounds that need healing. It reveals what still triggers you emotionally. And it gives you a precious opportunity to consciously work through those things with courage instead of just repeating old, unhealthy patterns or running away from the discomfort. Every difficult conversation is a chance to grow into a more resilient, compassionate, and effective human being.
Okay, from navigating the difficulties of conflict, let's shift towards the inspiring side of communication. Let's talk about how to speak to inspire. Let your words carry purpose. There's something truly special, almost magical, about a voice that doesn't just relay information, but genuinely moves people, isn't there?
It cuts through the noise.
Yeah. You've heard it before, I'm sure. Someone starts speaking, maybe quietly, maybe passionately, and the whole room seems to lean in, quiets down. Not necessarily because they're loud or famous, but because their words feel like they mean something significant. There's weight, there's resonance. That's the power of purpose-driven communication. And the exciting thing our research suggests is that this isn't just for charismatic gurus. It's something you can learn to cultivate in your own voice, in your own way.
It absolutely is. And it starts, perhaps surprisingly, with one simple but profound question you ask yourself before you speak. Why am I speaking right now? What is my deeper purpose in this moment?
Why am I speaking?
Yeah. Most people, most of the time, speak just to fill the silence, or to explain something factually, or simply to make sure their own voice gets heard in the mix. But truly powerful communicators, the ones who inspire, they often speak with a different intention. They speak to serve, to uplift, to connect, to shed light on something important, not just to shine a light on themselves, but on a possibility for those listening. They understand, consciously or intuitively, that every word carries weight, every sentence can plant a seed, and every message holds up a mirror to shared values or aspirations.
So purpose starts with knowing your why.
Exactly. And inspiration truly begins with that inner clarity we keep coming back to. You need to know what you deeply believe, what you genuinely care about, before you can possibly ignite that spark in others. What change do you truly yearn to see in your team, your family, the world? What core truths reside deep in your chest, waiting patiently to be given voice? Because when you become crystal clear about your core message, your authentic values, your why, your delivery naturally becomes more magnetic. You're not just saying things anymore. You're embodying your convictions. You're saying you.
And tone must play a huge role here, too.
Yeah.
The music behind the words, as you called it earlier.
Oh, tone is paramount when speaking to inspire. It's all about alignment, letting your voice authentically reflect the passion, the conviction, the empathy, the hope that resides in your heart. You can say the exact same sentence like, I believe in your potential in 5 different ways and evoke 5 completely different reactions.
How so?
Say it like it's just an obligatory line, flat, rushed, and it falls completely flat. Meaningless. But say it slowly, with genuine warmth and sincerity radiating from your voice. Maybe make direct eye contact. Perhaps include a slight meaningful pause right before the word potential. And suddenly, the person hearing it might actually feel seen, believed in, maybe even moved. It's not about performance, it's about alignment, allowing your voice to be a true conduit for your heart's intention.
So again, you don't necessarily need to be loud and booming to inspire. This seems to challenge the common image of, say, a motivational speaker yelling from a stage.
Not at all. That's just one style, and it doesn't resonate with everyone. You absolutely do not need to be loud to inspire. You need to be present and authentic. Speak like the words themselves truly matter. Speak like the person or people in front of you genuinely matter, because they do. Let your conviction, your care, your quiet passion fill the space rather than just your volume.
And what about silence? Can silence be inspiring?
Never, ever underestimate the power of silence when aiming to inspire. Inspiration often lives profoundly in the pause. You make a powerful point, share a moving story, ask a provocative question, and then you let it sit. You let it breathe. You give people a moment to absorb it, to feel it, to connect with it internally. Rushing ahead to the next point immediately kills that resonant moment. Presence and the skillful use of pauses builds trust and deepens impact.
And storytelling, that feels key to inspiration.
Storytelling is perhaps the most powerful tool for inspiration. Why? Because stories inherently carry emotion. They beautifully bypass our logical defenses and speak directly to the heart. They teach profound lessons without preaching or lecturing. They connect people across all divides, age, culture, background through shared human experience.
So if you want to inspire, tell stories.
Yes. Learn to tell your story. And critically, not just the polished, airbrushed, highlight reel version. Tell the real one. The one with setbacks and struggles alongside the successes. The one with pain and progress. The one with lessons hard-earned, not just easily learned. Tell someone how you failed at something important and what resilience it taught you. Tell someone what truly scared you and how you found the courage to face it anyway. Tell someone where you used to be stuck, confused, lost, and who you are becoming now. That's what truly inspires people.
Yeah.
Not your perceived perfection, but your persistent humanity, your relatable journey.
And understanding your audience seems crucial too, right? It can't just be about what you want to say. It has to connect with their needs, their hopes, their challenges.
Always, 100%. Whether you're speaking to one person across a coffee table or to 1,000 people in an auditorium, always try to speak to the heart behind the face. Try to sense who they are. What are they likely going through in their lives right now? What are their unspoken fears or aspirations? What do they truly need to hear from you in this moment, not just to learn something new, but to feel something? Hope, encouragement, validation, a gentle challenge.
Speak to their needs.
Because people don't just crave information, they crave connection, hope, and reminders of their own strength and potential. They yearn for someone to genuinely say, through words and presence, I see you, I understand something of your struggle, I've been there too, in my own way, and you should alone. Be that voice from others when you can. Be the voice that lifts, even when the topic itself is difficult or challenging. Be the voice that calls people toward their better selves, but never, ever looks down on where they are right now. Be the voice that genuinely believes in their capacity to grow and overcome, even when they might not yet believe in it themselves.
That's beautiful. But what if you feel like you're not there yet? What if you don't feel like an expert or particularly inspiring? Should you wait?
This is so important. Don't wait for perfection to speak your truth or offer encouragement. Your voice, your unique perspective, your story is needed now, exactly as you are. Even if it shakes a little, even if it's soft, even if you feel like you're still figuring things out yourself, which, let's be honest, we all are.
Right, we're all work in progress.
Exactly, because someone out there right now might be waiting to hear exactly what you have to say in the particular way that only you can say it from the particular place you're standing right now. So please, speak. Speak even if your palms sweat. Speak even if your words sometimes stumble. Speak because you've lived something real, you've learned something valuable, and your voice can be a bridge for someone else, a bridge to healing, to clarity, to courage, to connection. You don't need a massive stage. You don't need a perfectly polished script. You just need honesty and heart. And when you consistently speak from both, you inevitably light something up in others. You give them permission to find and use their own voice, too. So the next time you feel that familiar tug to stay silent, to play it safe, maybe remember this. Someone's next step, someone's breakthrough might be hiding in your next sentence. And the next time you wonder if your voice truly matters in this noisy world, please know this. It already does. Use it purposefully.
What an incredible journey we've taken today, really mapping out the landscape of communication. It feels like we've gone from the very first moment we enter a room and send signals all the way to speaking with deep purpose. It drives home that this isn't just about learning a few specific skills. It's about a profound, ongoing shift in how we approach every single human interaction. It truly feels like it's about becoming a lifelong communicator. The journey never ends.
That's exactly it. The best, most effective, most connected communicators in the world never stop learning.
Yep.
They don't reach some mythical level 10 and say, okay, done, mastered communication. No way.
It's a continuous process.
It's a continuous process of evolution, adaptation, and refinement. They stay curious about how they show up, curious about how their words land, curious about how they can connect more effectively. They reflect after important conversations, asking themselves, did I come across the way I intended? Was I truly listening? Where could I have been clearer or more compassionate?
Self-reflection.
They notice when they fall back into old habits, like interrupting or getting defensive. They're willing to apologize when they realize they spoke from a place of fear or ego instead of peace or connection. They try again. They learn again. They grow again. You see, communication isn't just one isolated skill set you master. It's truly a way of life, and it touches absolutely everything that matters. The health of your relationships, the trajectory of your career, your sense of self-respect and confidence, your ability to lead and influence effectively, even your own journey of healing and personal growth.
And you mentioned earlier that the foundation for all this outward communication starts inward, with how we talk to ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. This is so fundamental yet often overlooked. The way you habitually talk to yourself, that inner voice, your internal dialogue, is a kind or critical, encouraging or demeaning. That inner voice is the absolute foundation upon which all your outward speech is built. So if you genuinely want to keep growing as a communicator, keep tuning into that inner dialogue. Start practicing self-compassion instead of self-criticism. Notice when you're beating yourself up and consciously choose a kinder thought, because the voice you consistently use in the privacy of your own mind will undeniably, inevitably leak out and color every sentence you speak out loud to others. You can't consistently speak with warmth and encouragement to others if you're constantly berating yourself internally. The alignment starts within.
That's huge. And in this incredibly noisy, distracted world we live in, that emphasis on presence feels more vital than ever. Feels like maybe the ultimate antidote.
It truly is. Choosing presence, that simple but profound ability to put down your phone, quiet your mind, look someone in the eye, and make them feel like in that moment they genuinely matter, that is a rare and powerful gift. It's something people feel deeply and remember long after the words have faded. Being a lifelong communicator in the 21st century means consciously, deliberately choosing presence again and again, even when your phone is buzzing incessantly, even when your mind wants to race ahead to the next task, even when you're feeling utterly exhausted.
Choosing presence.
It's learning how to consciously slow down just for a moment and meet people precisely where they are, to convey through your attention, I'm here with you now. I see you. I'm listening. And remember, it's not just about the big, deep, meaningful talks. Presence is also found in the small, everyday moments. The genuine warmth and the way you greet someone in the morning, the sincere tone in your voice when you say thank you, the thoughtful pause you take before responding to criticism instead of just reacting, the kindness in your eyes when you say goodbye. These seemingly small signals compound. They create immense meaning over time. They communicate to the world who you are at your core and how much you truly care about connection.
And what about our digital lives? So much of our communication now happens online through text, email, social media. That comes with its own unique set of challenges and rules, doesn't it? Especially regarding tone and clarity when working on English communication skills.
It absolutely does, and it's crucial we address this. You're not just speaking face-to-face anymore. You're texting, DMing, emailing, commenting, participating in video calls. And each platform has its own nuances, its own potential pitfalls, especially regarding tone. Misunderstandings happen incredibly fast online, don't they?
Instantly.
Yeah. A short, efficient message can easily sound cold or dismissive without vocal tone or body language to soften it. The absence of a single emoji can completely change the perceived meaning of a sentence. A delayed response or silence can feel like outright rejection or anger, even if it's just because someone was busy.
So how do we navigate this digital minefield more effectively?
A few key principles. First, slow down before you hit send, especially if the topic is sensitive or potentially emotional. Take an extra second. Reread it. Ask yourself, how might this message feel to the person receiving it? Is my intended tone likely to come across clearly? Is it kind? Is it truly necessary to send this right now or in this format?
Pause before sending.
Definitely. Second, if a message feels even slightly sensitive, complex, or prone to misinterpretation via text or email, strongly consider choosing a different medium. Maybe it warrants a quick phone call, a voice message where your tone can be heard, a brief video check-in. Don't default to text for everything, especially difficult conversations. Remember, tone matters immensely, and text is notoriously bad at conveying it accurately.
Choose the right channel.
Exactly. When you communicate online, strive not just to be efficient, but to be thoughtful. Remember that your digital words often leave a permanent searchable footprint. Use them wisely, kindly, and clearly.
Okay, so this journey of becoming a lifelong communicator. Sounds like there's no finish line, and inevitably there will be missteps. We'll mess up. So what then? Do we just get discouraged and give up?
There absolutely will be missteps. And here's a secret that every truly great communicator understands deep down. You won't always get it right. You will say the wrong thing sometimes. You'll forget to listen deeply when someone needed you to. You'll interrupt out of habit. You'll speak from raw emotion instead of thoughtful intention. You'll misread a situation. That doesn't make you a bad communicator. That simply makes you human, learning in progress.
Okay, so it's okay to mess up.
It's more than okay. It's inevitable. The crucial question isn't if you'll mess up, but what you do next. Will you learn from it? Will you have the courage and humility to go back and practice repair, to say, I've been thinking about our conversation yesterday, and I realize I might have hurt you with what I said. I'm sorry. Will you send that follow-up message you forgot and take ownership of the delay? Will you choose humility over ego when things get messy and awkward?
Humility over ego. Repair over defensiveness.
That's precisely what separates surface-level speakers, who might give up when it gets hard, from true, lifelong communicators who see every interaction, even the difficult ones, as an opportunity to learn and grow. And here's the beautiful, profound reward for staying on that journey. The more honest and aware you become in your communication, the deeper and more resilient your relationships will inevitably become. The safer people will feel around you, the more peace you'll carry internally, because your words and actions will align more consistently with your core values, with your heart. You stop just talking. You start becoming a bridge between people. You become a place where understanding and maybe even healing can happen. You become someone people implicitly trust because your voice is no longer just sound waves hitting their ears. Its presence, its impact, its genuine connection. It's maybe even a form of love in action.
That's a beautiful way to think about it. So, deep diver, as we wrap up this exploration, wherever you go from here, maybe carry these truths with you. Your voice matters. Your silence matters. Your tone, your pauses matter. The way you look at people matters. The energy you bring into a room or a conversation matters profoundly. And every single time you consciously choose kindness over criticism, clarity over confusion, curiosity over judgment, and calm presence over reactive chaos, you make the world, your world, at least a little softer, a little wiser, a little more connected. That's the true transformative power of communication. And that's absolutely what you're capable of cultivating starting today. So please, don't stop learning. Don't stop showing up for yourself and others. Don't stop trying, even and perhaps especially when it feels awkward or messy. Because every word you speak, every moment you truly listen, is a chance to build something beautiful inside you and around you.
Perfectly said. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. In a world that often feels desperate for more understanding and connection, perhaps the most revolutionary act isn't to shout louder, but rather to learn to listen deeper, to speak clearer, and simply to show up more fully, more authentically in all our interactions. So consider this. What one small shift based on everything we've discussed today will you commit to practicing this week to consciously embody the kind of communicator you are aspiring to become? Keep growing, keep speaking with purpose, and never ever forget. You are not just someone who talks, you are someone who has the profound capacity to connect. And in a world starving for connection, that is a gift beyond measure. Use it well.